Most people don't give their mind peace before sleep. They poison it. Scrolling. Random videos. Stress. Comparison. Negative thoughts. And then they wonder why their life isn't focused, why they're not disciplined, why they're not successful. But Stoic philosophers knew something strange. The last thought of a person becomes the first reality of the next day. Imagine this. If you start programming your mind in the right direction for just 10 minutes every night, then within a few weeks, your thinking will start to change. Your focus will change. Your decisions will change. And slowly, your entire life will begin to change. Because the subconscious mind absorbs the most right before sleep. And successful people know this secret. In today's video, I'm going to share 10 Stoic night habits with you that can rewire your mind, strengthen your discipline, and make you mentally unstoppable. This is not just motivation. This is mental training. So make sure you watch this video till the end. Because the last habits are the most powerful. And if you truly want to take your mindset to the next level, then subscribe to the channel. Because here, we don't just talk about inspiration, we talk about transformation. So quickly like this video, share it with your loved ones, and leave a nice comment as well. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe and press the bell icon too. Let's begin. Habit number 1. Night self-reflection. Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius used to do one thing every night before going to sleep. He reviewed his entire day. He would ask himself, what did I do right today? What did I do wrong? And how can I become better tomorrow? Now think about this for a moment. Most people spend their entire lives without self-reflection. They live in repeat mode. The same mistakes. The same reactions. The same distractions. And then they say, why isn't my life changing? Because change never comes from an unconscious mind. Change comes from awareness. Nighttime is the mirror of your mind. If you start sitting quietly for just 5 minutes every night and observe your day, you'll begin noticing things within yourself that you never noticed before. For example, maybe you got angry unnecessarily today. Maybe you wasted your time. Maybe you avoided an important task. But Stoicism doesn't teach guilt. It teaches awareness. Understand the difference. Weak people judge themselves. Strong people observe themselves. That's why successful people are not emotionally reactive. They are self-aware. Tonight, try one experiment. Before turning off the lights, ask yourself just 3 questions. What did I do well today? Where did I make a mistake today? How can I improve one thing tomorrow? That's it. Your mind will slowly begin to evolve. Because once a person gains self-awareness, no power in the world can keep them average for long. And here's a dangerous truth. If you don't consciously close your day at night, then your mind keeps processing unfinished emotions all night long. That's why many people are physically tired. But mentally, they never truly rest. The Stoics used to say, silent reflection creates inner control. And inner control is real power. Now the next habit might completely change your nighttime system. Because this is the one thing that is destroying the modern human mind the most. Phone addiction. Habit number 2, control your phone before it controls your mind. Be honest. What's the last thing you touch before going to sleep at night? Your phone. And the first thing you touch when you wake up? Again, your phone. That means your day begins with a screen. And ends with a screen. Now think about this. If your mind is consuming random reels, negativity, comparisons, and useless information every night, then how can you expect focus from your subconscious mind? It's like filling your brain with noise before sleep, and then expecting clarity in the morning. Stoic philosophers used to call distraction a form of mental slavery, because the thing you cannot control eventually begins to control you. And in today's world, most people don't have control over their minds. Their phones do. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Your mind will take the shape of what you frequently hold in thought. If you constantly consume chaos, your mind will eventually become chaotic too." That's why successful people detox their minds before sleep. They protect their attention during the last 30 minutes of the night. Because attention is the most valuable currency in today's world. An average person lies in bed at night and starts just 5 minutes of scrolling. And suddenly, an entire hour passes by. What happens during that time? Your dopamine system becomes overloaded. Your mind becomes overstimulated. Your focus becomes weaker. And your subconscious starts absorbing random emotions. That's why you'll notice people who scroll excessively at night usually have more anxious thoughts. Their focus is weaker. And their goals keep getting delayed. Because a distracted mind can never create a powerful life. Now the question is, what's the solution? The Stoic solution is very simple. Remove unnecessary noise. Starting today, build one small habit. Keep your phone away from yourself at least 30 minutes before sleep. Silent mode. Face down. Or ideally, in another room. At first, it will feel uncomfortable. Because addiction is always afraid of silence. Your mind will keep telling you, "Let me just check it one more time." But that is the exact moment where discipline is built. Discipline is not built in the gym. Discipline is built in those invisible moments. When nobody is watching. And remember, every time you control your impulses, you are making your future self stronger. Imagine this. One person spends 30 minutes in silence before sleep, thinking about goals, calming the mind. And another person keeps doom scrolling, consuming comparison, gossip, and noise. 1 year later, their lives cannot possibly look the same. Because daily habits eventually become destiny. And that is the real power of Stoicism. Small invisible actions that quietly transform a person's entire identity. Now the next habit might be the most underrated one. But it's the habit that creates peace within a person. Gratitude and silence. Habit number 3, gratitude and silence before sleep. Now pause for a moment. And ask yourself one simple question. What did I have today, that many people don't have? Most people never answer this question. They always focus on what they don't have. What could have been better? What's missing? And that mindset slowly turns into mental stress. The Stoics were the complete opposite. They used to say, if you want peace, first learn appreciation. Gratitude is not just a motivational quote. It's a mental reset. Now imagine this. One person goes to sleep thinking, My health is okay. I had another day to live. I have a roof over my head. At least I have enough to survive. And another person only thinks, I didn't get this. I didn't get that, my life isn't enough. Now what difference will exist between the minds of these two people? The first person will feel calm, grounded. The second person will feel restless, anxious. That's the reason most people overthink at night. Because their minds are empty of gratitude. And when the mind is empty, it gets filled with negative thoughts. Stoicism teaches us this. Peace is not found in having more, but in needing less. Now understand one simple practice. Before sleep, take just 2 minutes. In your mind, think of 3 things you're grateful for. They can even be small things. A good meal. A safe day. A message from a friend. Or simply the fact that you are alive and breathing. These things may seem small. But for the brain, they are powerful signals. These signals send a message to your subconscious. You are safe. You are enough. And when the mind receives a signal of safety, it begins to relax. Now add one more powerful thing to this. Silence. Just silence. No music. No scrolling. No noise. Just lie down and observe your breathing. The Stoics used to say, but after a few days, you'll begin to notice. Your sleep is improving. Your mind feels calmer. And your overthinking is decreasing. Because you've started training your mind again. Now the next habit goes one step deeper. It directly programs your subconscious mind. Mind programming before sleep. Habit number 4, mind programming before sleep. Now we've reached a point where most people abandon control of their minds. And successful people consciously direct it. The time before sleep is not just a time for rest. It's a time for programming. Your subconscious mind is most receptive during this time. Which means whatever you think about at that moment quietly begins to shape your identity. Stoic philosophy had a very simple idea. Become the architect of your own mind. In other words, build your mind yourself. Instead of allowing the world to shape yourself, just one question. Is this within my control? If the answer is yes, take action tomorrow. If the answer is no, let it go. That's it. It sounds simple. But that is real mental freedom. Because the Stoics used to say, peace begins where control ends. Now try one exercise. After lying down in bed, stop trying to fight your thoughts. Observe them instead. Imagine that you are the sky. And your thoughts are clouds. They will come. And they will pass. But the problem begins when you start chasing every single thought. One thought appears. I'm not good enough. And instantly, you react emotionally. Then another thought appears. Then anxiety. Then stress. Stoicism does not teach reaction. It teaches observation. That is inner mastery. Now here's another powerful habit. Before sleeping, empty your mind of unresolved problems. If there's a worry, a task, an idea, write it down on paper. Because often the brain cannot sleep. Simply because it is trying to remember everything. But when you write things down, the mind receives a signal. Everything is handled. And then it begins to relax. That's why successful people journal. It's not a diary. It's mental unloading. Now the next habit is something very few people practice. But it is the habit that creates deep discipline within a person. Sleeping with intention. Habit number 7, sleep with intention. Most people just fall asleep out of exhaustion. But a Stoic person sleeps with purpose. Understand the difference. One person collapses on the bed in an unconscious state. And another person consciously directs their mind before sleep. And this small difference slowly turns into a completely different destiny. Because life doesn't only change with morning habits. It also changes with nighttime intentions. Now ask yourself one question. What energy do I fall asleep with? Stress, fear, comparison, regret, or clarity, purpose, and discipline? Because the emotional state you sleep in is often the same state your subconscious continues working in all night. That's why some people wake up already feeling exhausted, even though they slept the whole night. The body has rested, but the mind has been fighting battles all night. The Stoics used to say, "A calm mind creates a powerful life." And calmness is not an accident. It is practice. Now understand a powerful nightly ritual. Before sleeping, quietly say to yourself, "Today is over. I gave my best effort. Tomorrow is a new opportunity." This sentence is small, but it gives your mind closure. Because most people are physically in bed, but mentally still stuck in the day. An argument, a mistake, an embarrassing moment keeps replaying in their mind. But Stoicism teaches us the past cannot be controlled anymore. So why carry it to bed every night? Strong people know how to let the day go. And that is emotional maturity. Now one more important thing. Make your environment intentional before sleep. Dim lights. Clean bed. Less noise. Because the environment quietly shapes the mind. If you sleep in chaos, your mind stays chaotic too. That's why disciplined people treat their nights as sacred. They understand that sleep is not just physical rest. It is mental recovery. And now a very deep idea. The Stoics used to treat each night as if it could be their last. Not in a depressing way, but in an awakening way. They reminded themselves, maybe I won't get another day. And that thought made them more grateful, more focused, more alive. Because when a person understands the temporary nature of life, they stop wasting time. They move away from meaningless distractions. And they start living each day with intention. Now the next habit will start changing your identity itself. Because this habit directly builds self-discipline. The power of small promises. Habit number 8, the power of small promises. Now we've reached a habit that looks very small from the outside. But internally, it builds an entire human personality. The Stoics believed a simple idea. Character is built in small moments. In other words, you are not built by big decisions. You are built by small promises. Now think about this. How many times have you made promises to yourself? I will wake up early tomorrow. I will use my phone less. I will stay focused. And then what happened? Most of those promises were broken. And when a person starts breaking their own promises, they slowly start losing trust in themselves. And that is the most dangerous thing. Because confidence doesn't come from outside. It comes from self-trust. Stoic philosophy has a powerful idea. Keep promises even when no one is watching. In other words, real discipline is not what you do when people are watching. Real discipline is what you do in silence. Now understand a simple reality. If you tell yourself at night, "I won't pick up my phone again," and then you still pick it up, you are sending your mind a signal. "I cannot keep my word." And when this signal repeats again and again, your mind stops taking your commands seriously. Now try a practical Stoic exercise. Tonight, make just one small promise. Not a big one. For example, "I will stay in silence for 5 minutes before sleep." Or, "I will not touch my phone once the lights are off." Just one. And then fulfill it 100%. Because consistency is built in small actions, not big actions. Now imagine this. One person keeps small promises every day. And another person keeps ignoring them. The first person slowly becomes powerful. Because their mind starts respecting them. And the second person starts feeling internally weak. Because they have destroyed their own credibility. And remember, the world respects you only to the extent that you respect yourself. The Stoics used to say, "Self-mastery is the highest form of freedom." And self-mastery begins in small moments. When no one is watching. And you still choose the right action. Now the next habit is very interesting. Because it directly calms your emotional state. Body and mind reset before sleep. Habit number 9, body and mind reset before sleep. Now we've reached a habit that most people ignore. But it can completely change your sleep quality and next day energy. Stoicism is not just a philosophy of the mind. It is alignment of both body and mind. Because a tired body cannot produce a clear mind. And a restless mind cannot enter deep sleep. Now imagine your entire day. Sitting for hours. Using your phone. Taking stress. And then suddenly lying in bed. Expecting your mind to shut down instantly. That is not logically possible. Because the body is still in active mode. And the mind is still in processing mode. That's why most people go to bed physically lying down. But mentally they are still awake. Now the Stoic solution is very simple. A transition ritual. In other words, give your body and mind a signal that the day is over. For example, light stretching. Deep breathing. Or just a few minutes of slow walking. This small action tells your nervous system, now it's safe to relax. And when the body receives a signal of safety, the mind automatically starts calming down. Now understand a very powerful technique. Deep breathing. Just 1 to 2 minutes. Slowly inhale through the nose. And slowly exhale. That's it. It sounds simple. But it resets your nervous system. Your heart rate slows down. Your mind becomes quiet. And your body shifts into sleep mode. Stoics believe that control does not mean suppressing emotions. Control means state awareness. In other words, you are aware of your current mental and physical state. And you consciously shift it. And that is one of the most powerful skills in today's overstimulated world. Now look at a simple evening reset sequence. First, put your phone away. Then, light stretching. Then, deep breathing. Then, silence. Just 5 to 10 minutes. This is your day's closing ceremony. And when you consciously close your day, your mind doesn't keep replaying it all night. Now the next and final habit completely completes this entire system. It connects everything together. Stoic sleep ritual integration plus final transformation. Habit number 10, the Stoic sleep ritual, final integration. Now we've reached the final and most powerful part of this entire system. And this is the habit that connects all the others together. Because the truth is, the problem is not one habit. The problem is consistency. The Stoics understood a simple truth. Your life is the sum of your daily rituals. Now imagine this. One person sleeps every night in a random way. No structure. No reflection. No intention. And another person follows a fixed Stoic ritual every night. Self-reflection. Phone control. Gratitude. Visualization. Silence. Small promises. Body reset. Intentional sleep. Now think about it. After 1 year, what will be the difference between these two people? The difference will not be subtle. It will be at an identity level. Now let's simplify the final Stoic sleep ritual. It has 3 steps. First step, release. Mentally let go of the day. Tell yourself, what is done is done. I release it. Because a person who cannot release the day cannot truly rest at night. Second step, align. Align yourself with tomorrow. Just one clear intention. Tomorrow I will be disciplined. I will be focused. That's it. Not more. Because clarity is not found in overload, it is found in simplicity. Third step, surrender. Now let go of control. Tell your mind, now I am going into rest. And then don't force anything. Don't hold on to thoughts. Don't fight anxiety. Just let go. This is Stoic sleep mastery. Control plus awareness plus surrender. Now look back. These 10 habits are not just habits. They are a complete mental system. A system that silently rewires your subconscious mind. And when the subconscious changes, your entire life begins to change. Because you are not what you think. You are what you repeatedly do. Now one final truth. If you truly want to take your life to the next level, then motivation is not enough. You need nightly discipline. Because night is where winners and losers are separated. If this video brought you value, then like it. Share it with someone struggling with overthinking, distraction, or lack of discipline. And don't forget to subscribe. Because here we don't just talk. We rebuild the mind. And remember, your nights decide your life. Goodbye.